What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Plastic Arts Podcast. My name's Fonzie. I got my co-host, indie game dev extraordinaire, Gavin Jones. I didn't do my little intro with we break down the video game news. If you don't already know, now you know. We break down the video game news of the week. Gavin, you're the indie game dev extraordinaire, and you're recently now pregnant after watching that Super Bowl halftime show.
I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
What?
Jeez,
no. Louise.
I've seen a few things. I saw Shakira did a tongue thing.
Oh yeah, and more, and then some.
Shakira wore the same the red outfit is the same as the outfit she wears in Zootopia.
Her character?
Yeah.
Oh, there was like some kind of picture-in-picture with like a zebra, animated zebra. I didn't realize
it's like
that.
a gazelle or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, they based that gazelle off of her, so like, who cares? That makes sense.
Yep. So you didn't watch any of the Super Bowl, or just?
I didn't. I went to Walmart and I was gonna buy an antenna, and then I saw the antennas were between $25 and $45, and I'm like, you know what?
I want to say you can stream it. Can't you stream the?
I'm sure there was a way I could have done it, but I
Just
didn't
didn't
feel
care
like,
enough
yeah.
to-
It's like I.
At least for the halftime show, that was nuts. I couldn't handle it.
Who was the guy? Was it Beyonce that was with her, or who was with her?
Damn it, Kevin! No,
I
it was.
didn't see.
It was J-Lo. First of all,
Oh, it
there
was
you go.
J-Lo.
It was J-Lo and fucking Shakira, and they're just-
Shakira was the. Oh no, Shakira was the one I was just talking about.
Yes, and J-Lo, who's 50, was like just banging. You know, she was somehow in more shape than anybody I've ever seen in my life. She's 50. She's a mom, and she's like on this pole. She's doing like pole dancing during the performances. She's singing. Yeah, it was nuts. And Shakira's out there shaking her ass and behind her, and it was empowering and hot, and I was on board for the whole thing.
I think it's crazy that I didn't even hear about J-Lo being there. I saw there was somebody in blue.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, but I remember them announcing it, and I was already crunk for it, so it was on my radar for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it was nuts, and it was kind of weird watching with my family because I was, had different emotions going on. I didn't know how to feel about it, but because I was just
couldn't
in
stand
love.
for the national anthem after that.
No, there's one time I took a knee for the national anthem because physically I cannot get up there. That was cool. Other than that, I really did not care about the game or the teams playing, and so it was a thing, and it was fine. But the halftime show.
Sounds like the ending was pretty interesting.
Yeah, there was a comeback. I wasn't paying attention. We were just eating food and shooting the shit, but at my Graham's house. But
right.
there was, so every year there's that Madden curse, and I found it interesting. So I want to say it was Kotaku brought up the fact that this Madden curse has been seemingly broken.
You're on it.
I'm on it. That's why I can't find it, Gavin. Let's pull up to this. So it's Patrick Mahomes officially broke the Madden cover curse. Yeah, so it's kind of a staple that whatever character or whatever player's on it during their rookie year or the year that they're on it, they get injured. And
I think it's the year they're on it, they won't win the Super Bowl the following year or something like that.
Yeah.
By the way, so on this, while we're looking at this ad here, I did not realize that was one of the Olsen twins.
Oh, really? With the chick who plays Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. She's like still been an actor. I thought her and her sister were just doing fashion and stuff.
Well, it's not the one you think of. So there's the two twins.
Right.
This is like their other sister. So it's not. So she's in the family, but it's not one of the.
Oh, she's
Olsen.
not a twin?
No, it's just a sister of the Olsen.
Okay, that's what I mean. I was surprised, but also she hasn't. She looks like them, but also she doesn't.
Yeah.
I know she's like besties with Aubrey Plaza, which I adore.
Nice.
I don't know if you've ever seen if you can find little clips of those two together,
like hanging out,
That's
awesome.
Slapping each other on the ass, just besties being.
Is this
besties.
also a Super Bowl commercial in my dreams, or what is this? Her halftime show?
Okay, so she's not a twin. Okay, so that's what blew. I thought she was a twin, but she's just one of the old. Okay,
she's just one of those twins, and she has her shit together. Although you say she has her shit together, but the other ones are like multi-billionaires that run that still are sitting on their money from all the VHS movies they made as kids. So they have their
still
shit
make
together.
money off of those.
Somebody's buying them, or just
I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah, it's they created a fortune.
Still watching that Halloween one, the
there's
double toil and trouble or whatever it was called.
There's a pizza song one that's like terrifying if you ever Google it on YouTube.
Pizza song.
Yeah, something about a pizza. I mean, I could show you it, but it's really bad. You've never seen this, so it's like Olsen Twins pizza. I feel like that's all you gotta look up. Okay. So
I like this Jim Carrey thing we got going on down here.
Pizza song. Oh, he's doing a lot of press for. Yeah, gimme pizza. Oh shit, it's instant pizza right there.
That's not pizza.
We got Chinese food. Okay.
That is in no way pizza.
It's like a Tim and Eric skit, but before, because it gets weird.
The pizza's already cooked. You can't.
I'm already having a seizure just watching the cuts. Yeah, it's terrible. And it's like they show you this as soon as you walk into hell or something, or
What's with this shaky cam?
I don't know.
What about a Visa?
I don't know. Okay.
Can we talk about how the Olsen twins are dressed like 40-year-old divorcees? That kid freaks me out the most. That looks like someone took the mom from throwing KFC on there. That girl looks, or boy, looks like the mom from The Shining, just shrunk down with a shrink ray.
Yeah, Shirley something.
Yeah,
Shirley Duvall.
What have you? How is this real?
That's a real thing. Well, they made so many VHS tapes, like nobody knew what the fuck they were doing over there, and they're making this stuff.
Oh God, make it stop!
Yeah. I don't know why we got on that tangent, but yeah, that's what they were doing, making millions of dollars doing that.
I'm both upset and have motion sickness. Yeah. From that camera work. Ooh.
Did you play any games over the weekend, Gavin?
Yeah, I did.
What did you?
Oof.
Yeah, we need
my life is worse now for having
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to introduce you to that. It's just recently somebody on Reddit or something shared that, but it's like it's well known apparently.
What the fuck? Yeah, I played I don't know how many hours I played of it, but I played a decent chunk of, and I'm going to mess up the name because I think this name is honestly terrible, but it's like Journey to the Savage Planet, Journey through the Savage Planet, Journey
to the Wild Planet or Wildlands.
Where the wild things are.
Just thinking of those other two that keep getting mixed with each other.
Right. It's really not a very helpful name.
Journey to the
Savage Planet. So To the Savage. And I really liked it. Yeah. It's really good exploration. Now, bear in mind, I hear towards the end is where it gets a little poopy. But so far, the exploration's really fun. Somebody in a review pointed out that they're definitely sure, they're pretty sure the gun that you have was designed to feel like a shitty Nerf gun, and I think that goes really well with the theme of the game. Yeah.
This promotional video is weird. Does this have something to do with the actual gameplay? Oh, okay.
So yeah, in the game. It's really got this weird, I don't know if dystopian is the right word, but shitty view of Earth in the future, so that paste could taste like whatever you want it to taste like. There's all sorts of weird ads. I don't.
How's the traversal? How's the platforming?
It's really fun. Ooh, that was one of the bosses that I just beat. It's really fun. That area's cool. That's the thing. It's just sort of neat. The whole so far everything's really fun.
Do you think this could work
seen that yet, or that?
Could this work in VR? Would it be too much going on? Do you move slow enough where you could kind of?
I don't know.
Or teleport, I guess.
Yeah. We could teleport. Yeah, a lot of scanning. It's a lot of fun. So far, the enemies aren't too tough. It looks like, based on that trailer, like it's about to be. But it's very funny. The gameplay is really fun. It's gorgeous to look at.
It is gorgeous for sure. Yeah.
And it's impressive how there's no map, or if there is, I don't know about it. But there's no real map, and yet for the most part, I don't get lost, and I just sort of go and explore and can find my way about. And the stuff tends to double back upon itself. The upgrades are kind of just okay. But yeah, it's really pretty. Also, those things, the same button to smash that into your helmet is the same button as the slap button. Okay. So typically I'll press it like a half second before I get to the context sensitive pop up. I swear sometimes it still does it even when I have the pop up. So you gotta slap it. You gotta give it a good old slap before you eat it.
I see. So you're just naturally walking up the stuff and
walk up and which would be better if it jiggled.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's sort of in those little things that you're smashing. It's almost got that Crackdown 1 effect of like the orbs, even though it's not near as powerful as the orbs were.
Okay.
But yeah, this shit's it's really so far. I'm really digging it. It's really fun.
It seems more No Man's Sky versus like the Outer Worlds kind of thing. No, it's not.
Neither. Yeah, it's got very similar visual styles. But this is really, I don't know, it's almost got more, and this is with many, like this is a fistful, a shovelful assault, but it's got more in common almost with the Dark Souls. Albeit the combat's way more drawn back. It's more just about exploring this world.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's just more up my alley.
Yeah, it's really fun. I really don't know if you'd like it or not.
Well, just describing the combat, because that stuff never drew me in with stuff like the Souls games, how brutal it was, but I do like I tend to just like enjoy, moving around the environment and exploring and stuff. So
and it's a lot of fun exploring.
It seems like the writing is funny, or that's the vibe I get from the trailers.
And there's all sorts of neat little nooks and crannies. So the more you explore, the more you're gonna find and just get rewarded. I'm pretty sure at this point I'm as upgraded as I probably need to be for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep on upgrading. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then I played Forager.
All right.
I'm at like 26, 27 hours now. But I'm at basically the end of how much I need to be upgraded.
Yeah.
So I guess I can just stop playing here. There's not.
Is there no, I guess, end game or replayability? What's the deal?
I mean, you can. There's like this arena thing that you can do. But
I'm bringing the energy, guy.
Yeah, sorry, I got barely any sleep last night. I definitely accidentally murdered those things.
Okay.
Which I think
They're
there's
adorable.
a quest if you don't murder them. But yeah, so each island has, well, almost every island, if not every island, has a little mini puzzle. Some of them have dungeons. The combat's not terribly tough unless you get into this sort of end game thing.
Yeah.
And
the art style reminds me of like Binding of Isaac, I guess, but way more like fully fleshed out and
this looks nothing like.
No, I'm thinking of, is it more like pixelated then?
Well, Binding of Isaac, so Rebirth was pixelated, but it's so gross and nasty.
That's true.
Whereas this is like cute and adorable.
Right.
And I still love that this was
like
made. The original prototype was made in a game jam, which I believe I actually participated in this game jam. And the amount of content this guy pumped out in, I believe, 72 hours, it might have been less, was ridiculous. He had a lot of the base mechanisms. It still felt super juicy. That's one of the things this game does really well, is everything feels alive and animated and juicy. So it's super impressive. But I am now that I'm done with it, I get my soul back, and I can go back to my life.
Were you playing this on Switch?
No, I was playing it on PC.
On PC? This looks like a perfect Switch game.
Yep.
But just like visually, and now you can take it with you and all that.
Yeah, I don't really feel like having played this on PC with mouse and keyboard netted me any advantage.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's neat, but I'm glad to be done with it.
Yeah.
That being said, oddly enough, it's crazy. I think having played this is probably really my first survival game like this. And I'm kind of glad I picked it because like I know there's other stuff like Minecraft, you can start creating stuff and that can take off. Don't Starve is a roguelite, which that's addictive to me. So I feel like if I went down and Don't Starve, I'd be playing that forever. And then there's that one game, Butterscotch Shenanigans, made
Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Whatever it's called.
Okay. That's a real game.
Well, that's the developer that made it.
Oh, gotcha.
I was telling you, this was the game that the guy basically. Enter the Crashlands or something like that. I think it's just called Crashlands. We talked about it. It was the developer who found out he was definitely going to die. And
Oh,
so
right.
he's like,
Yes,
just this is the game I'm making. If I only get to make one more, this is going to be it.
Yeah. Gotcha. I remember that guy.
So, and that game has like, whereas this game maybe has like 100 or so unique items, or maybe less than 200. Like that game had, I think, in the thousands of unique items. So I could be playing that for like a year.
Dang.
Or like a Terraria. There's so many worse ways I could have gone. So this was very
That's
pared
true.
down.
As far as like the types of crack you could have tried, this is the light version that
at least
lets you go eventually.
Yeah, there's only so much of this crack you can have before they're out of crack. They can't make anymore.
Right.
That being said, having played it in my brain, I'm just instantly thinking like, well, now I want to make one like that, but with changes. Oh,
nice.
Which would be a dangerous rabbit hole to go down.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do they? What do you imagine they're using to develop that game in particular, as far as like an engine goes?
I thought they were using Game Maker.
Mm.
I think that's what the original prototype was made in.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that is what the original prototype was made in. Because I remember being very surprised at how well a lot of the text looked.
Mm.
And Game Maker tends to have these weird issues with text.
Gotcha.
But it looks really good. It scales really well. I'm so happy to be done.
That's good. Finally got your soul back.
Right. What about you? What'd you play?
Not a whole lot. I played. I've been trying to finish. I want to get back into Doom, and I have it on my Switch. So I've been playing that for some reason. That version.
You want to play the inferior version of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you not have
it
it on your Xbox?
I do. I have it on like Xbox and PlayStation, but I like the option of when Megan's watching something on TV, I can pop it on my Switch and play it. It is a downgrade, but it's still fun. The controls are still. You just have to get used to the weird version of the controls on the Switch, but it still plays really good. And I'm just and it's sort of a mindless thing you kind of put in the back of your head and you can play it. And I'm just kind of want to play the gameplay again and just get my fix for me until Doom Eternal comes out. But yeah,
I still think it's crazy. So watching that Doom doc on the new one, that A, they're still porting this new one to Switch. And B, they were saying like some of the tech they'd made for the Switch version, like they were bringing some of that over to the other versions because they had that so well optimized. So like, all right, what's your trick?
Yeah,
because it's hard to port good looking stuff to the Switch like that.
I imagine as far as
it's designed.
Also, as the years go by, now with the Switch, we have that dated hardware, and these games are just getting more and more intense, and so it's getting tough. But I think it's day and date with Switch as well. Like it's releasing on PS4, Xbox, PC, Switch.
That's nuts.
Yeah, they mentioned another team developing the Switch port, but that team's become so efficient with all their tools and stuff and porting stuff like that.
That's nuts. It did. That did also make me think of a fun video I watched from Polygon about the future of Nintendo for the next 10 years because they kind of pointed out they've kind of constantly for a while now been 10 years behind. Like especially with online and all this stuff. So like here's some of the trends we had in the last 10 years that we're going to bring about. And they were like dad games. We're going to get our Dad of Wars and our Lasts of Us and stuff like that. And it's like, you know what? That's probably actually correct. Like Dark Souls clones. I'm like, oh man, this is happening, isn't it?
That's fine. I do like the I will eventually, or every once in a while I'll cruise around on the Switch store, on the online store. And I would like better deals on stuff, but there are some deals there, but I find that just as far as like the way that the industry has driven past them with like PlayStation, there's always really good deals on their online store. Even Xbox is getting really, really good at that, but Switch, it's just tough. Especially the first party stuff is out of the question always, right? It's always $60 no matter what. But they're opening it up and having some better deals because I want to just fill my Switch with stuff I'll never play. I do that on PC. I do that on my other consoles. Yeah. I want to do that on my Switch. Just let me do that.
Do that on my Epic store. That is a fantastic transition, though, because right now, I believe still right now, I know it was yesterday, but there is $10 off Pokemon Sword or Shield.
Oh, really? I want to get into that.
To get people prepped for Pokemon Home.
Gotcha. And I don't know what Home does exactly, but I have one of the articles pulled up.
I assume you just tell it like, Pokedex, turn down the thermostat.
That's cool. I'll pay for that. Well, the actual article that's going to help us understand is from
60. Oh, a year.
Yeah, this is.
I read that as a month, and I was.
Oh yeah, that's tough. I don't know what you're getting with that, but
about to cock my fists like a
Henry Cavill.
Like a Henry Cavill.
It's from Polygon. Nicole Carpenter writes, Pokemon Home will cost $15.99 a year for premium users. The app is launching in February. So what exactly does it do? I want to find out. So in Pokemon Home, the Pokemon Company's cloud-based storage system launches in February. 2 pricing options will be available, basic and premium. The company updated its website today with new information. The basic plan is free, but gives players limited access to Pokemon Home's features. The number of Pokemon that can be deposited, for instance. The premium plan has 3 options. 1 month for $2.99, 3 months for $4.99, and so on. These are all the features available in each plan. So premium plan upgrades. Features. Moving Pokemon from Pokemon Bank. You don't get into the basic, get in the premium. Number of Pokemon that can be deposited.
How can you move them to and from the bank? So like you can store 30 of them in there. How do you do that without the ability to move them to it?
That's true. I guess to and from other banks or somebody else's bank.
Is the Pokemon Bank different?
Is it like a Pokemon Sperm Bank? I don't know. Pokemon Home will connect on the Nintendo Switch with Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Okay, can you switch them between those different games? Yeah, I'm very much out of the loop here. The company noted, however, that a Pokemon moved from Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee cannot be moved back to the games once it's been transferred.
Oh, Pokemon Bank was the older storage system from the 3DS era. I kind of remember that.
I see.
So this is the new storage bank.
This seems like for high-end users, right, that are running out of room with the Pokemon they have. I don't know if like general everyone else is going to be encountering this issue.
I think you kind of need it if you want to actually collect them all.
Okay, gotcha.
So Pokemon Bank legit, the logo there looks like a bank.
Or Illuminati or some kind of...
That's where you store your money.
Yeah, you definitely be giving it to the Pokemon Company.
Huh.
So we'll kind of follow this as it unfolds, or we won't because it's super complicated. But if I want to get into Pokemon, which I do want to get into Sword and Shield because I haven't been really a big Pokemon fan in the past 10, 20 years. But this one seemed more approachable. It seemed more fun for just Joe Schmoes like me.
Or you could play Temtem.
Oh, interesting. I could, but that also I know way more less than I do with Pokemon. Like I at least understand like the core 100 whatever Pokemon, but I don't know what the fuck a Temtem is. But I understand people love it.
But speaking of Temtem,
yes.
So a fun story. So Temtem coming out. This is the Pokemon style MMO. Coming out saying that they permanently banned 900 players. Originally saying that they would not allow for appeals on these bans, and now they.
Do you know originally what the basis was for the bans? Like what you had to do to get banned?
So I like this. So this is all I kind of gave some respect to there will be no appeals. So this is a premium game. I think that's something really worth pointing out. This is not free to play.
Okay.
This is premium.
Nor is Pokemon Sword and Shield though, right?
Right, but this is like an MMO, and for something like this, it almost seems like something to be free to play. So they're saying this is premium, which also means if you get banned, you can't get banned in Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you get banned in a premium game, that fucking hurts.
Because you paid for it, and now you no longer
permanent. Yeah, so you get people in, Apex Legends. They're like, oh, we've banned like 3 million accounts for cheating. It's like, no. That may only be 900 people with 3 million accounts, right? Like they just keep recreating them. Now it's more than 900 people, but this game is smaller. But yeah, so 900 people. And the thing that when they said there will be no appeals, and that they kind of made sure about this, and you do need to read the articles to really get the full story, because they did walk it back and they clarified their statement as saying, when we banned these people, we made fucking sure. This isn't like you can try to appeal, but we made sure before we banned your ass that your ass needed banning.
That's good that they're actually doing the research. It's not just an accidental thing.
Nope. These were verified. So basically people with that are either actively cheating via hacking or something like that, or using an exploit to a degree of like ridiculousness. If you and they even pointed that out, like if you discover an exploit, like we're not, banning you. If you found this exploit and you're just like cheesing it over and over again, really taking advantage of something you shouldn't be, watch out for that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't be cheating the system. But yeah, so hacking, which is fantastic, especially in like, I don't even think Blizzard takes that hardline a stance against cheating. Like this is a hardline stance in a game that's going to need that. And there have been people that were saying with this game they weren't sure if their opponent was hacking, and now they can be like, well, maybe they were, but they asked getting caught. So that's pretty cool.
I wonder what's the extra step you mentioned. Like, are they going to kids' houses and just like cracking their switches in half and be like, "Hey, fuck you, kid, got you cheating."
I mean,
bursting through the window.
They basically took $20 and cracked it over their knee.
True.
Like they're not getting. I mean, the only thing the cheaters can really do is buy a bunch of keys for this, and then sell them on G2A.
This is on PC, right?
Yeah, it's on PC. You can buy it on Steam.
Gotcha.
Even though it's in beta, you still have to pay for it. But yeah, that's really cool to me. In my opinion, again, I think it is necessary that they walked it back, but I think it's also smart that they're saying, yeah, you can appeal it. But what are you going to come at us with? Like, we proved you were cheating.
Yeah, where it did
before
the work.
Right.
That's
why it's only maybe 900 when it could be in theory higher.
Yeah.
But this is also a game people want to play. So I think it's really good that it doesn't have cheaters. Like,
I guess, do you want to come out of the gate, because it's a new game too? Do you want to come out of the gate with this hard stance so that you detour hopefully other cheaters right off the bat, and they don't infiltrate that community?
I hope that it'll just encourage people to play it without fear of dealing with cheaters.
Yeah,
because people, you're not going to pay $20 just to lose $20.
That's true. Yeah, you have to manage that too. Your community can get just burned out if they feel like they're always losing for unfair reasons.
Yeah. So,
and the actual article is from Nicole Carpenter all over at Polygon, but just kind of breaks down the details on that. I do want to. I keep hearing about Temtem. I don't know if I've already out of the loop with Pokemon. I don't know if this is for me. This is my route, or if I should wait for what's that villager game with it's also on Switch coming out. It sounds really
Animal
cool.
Crossing.
Animal Crossing. There you go.
Do you like Animal Crossing?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel or what I think in life. And
you might like it because you like city builders.
I do, and I like cute stuff. And I wonder if that's but can you build as much as you can in like a City Skylines? I don't know how you can decorate your house.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that I don't like about it is at least in the one game I played of it is like, you walk into town, they're like, hey, you're new in town. Here's your new house. And you're like, oh, thanks, Tom. It's like, so you owe me $100,000. Like, whoa, just got here, bud.
Right.
And then like people are walking, like people won't hang out with you unless you decorate your house a certain way. Like, it's fucking vicious.
Have you seen this special edition Switch they're putting out for Animal Crossing? It's like this
that's pretty cute.
Blue or light blue, light green color aesthetic. It looks really dope. It's enough to make me go, oh shit, what's going on here? But yeah, I'm not going to pay for another Switch, but it is really cool looking.
I like the semi-glossy back. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably also feels nice against your fingers.
It looks cool. I want them to do more of these special edition Switches.
Right.
I
wish my Switch was a special edition.
You can buy those weird like vinyl grips that go around your Switch if you don't want to like pay for a different Joy-Con, but there is ways to like cheaper ways to upgrade it. But so there's that going on. Gavin, as far as everything else that's going on in the news, how do you feel about this Overwatch stuff? If you want to break this down, Overwatch is bringing hero pools to competitive play.
Yeah, so you wanted me to explain this. So,
yes.
So here's kind of the way it works to my understanding, and I'm fairly certain I'm understanding this correctly. So I'm trying to think of a game that would help this. Are there any fighting games or any games you played where there's like a pool of characters and you pick one or two or something that like a Mortal Kombat?
I'm more familiar with Mortal Kombat or something maybe a little bit of Smash. That I'm somewhat familiar with that.
So, to the best I can explain this. So imagine you're playing Mortal Kombat, right? And man, there's just the devs are just having a hard as hell time balancing it.
Okay.
And it's the more characters they add, God, just the harder it is to balance. And there's these metas that they just can't get rid of, and every time they squash one, a new one pops up. So what they decide to do is for competitive events, like let's say we have a tournament coming up this weekend, what they're going to do is before the event, they're going to ban a certain number of characters
Okay.
before you go in. So rather than fixing their fucking game, they're gonna force variety upon you.
Do they tell you beforehand the characters that are being banned?
Yeah, so you're gonna know which characters you can pick from, but I think this is what we've learned now, because Overwatch is kind of, to a certain degree, the only one of its kind. Almost.
There's so many characters on Overwatch.
Yeah, they decided to take a Team Fortress 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I still think Overwatch at launch was fucking fantastic. And even like before they made it so one person could play per character, like I loved games where both teams were all Mei and shit was just chaos. And it was dumb, but it was fun. Everyone was having a good time. Even if our teammate was walling us into a room and there was nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've gone out and tried to create, again, a Team Fortress 2, and then kind of taken the character elements of a MOBA. And at first it was great and it was fucking exciting. We had a really well balanced game, and as the cast ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, the meta was solidified. Tweaking one thing would change everything. Like back when it was small, it was manageable. Now it's unmanageable. Right. They can't properly balance that game, and that's kind of a flaw in the design of the overall game. And now they can't fix it, so they're doing this shit, and it's really bullshit. Like it keeps happening where there's one comp to rule them all. Yeah. And people are bored of watching that. Now they have to watch it on fucking YouTube, so they're even like even less likely to watch the same fucking match they just watched 2 times. But now, so they have to deal with this, which in a certain light, it's kind of neato because, you get a bit more variety from week to week, but it's artificial. It feels cheap. And like you go through the comment section, everyone's pissed off because we've all come to the same conclusion. They can't fix their game anymore. And I think it's the game's fault. It's the full game design that can no longer be cured.
Was there almost an arms race to keep adding characters, and this is the shit they're in because of that?
I think in a character-based game, that's how you do it. And
how does Mortal Kombat juggle everything?
It's 1-on-1, whereas this is 5-on-5, right?
But Mortal Kombat has so many different characters, but it's the added aspect of there's so many different characters playing at once.
Right. Okay. So you have your standard comp you do every single time. Yeah. So
that's tough. I can see from the outside how, that would be a bummer because you would prefer that they just balance the game like it should be. But does that also turn the community off by saying, hey, we're going to like make these dramatic, nerfs to characters and like adjusting that in real time so it is balanced? But that's
what people are led to expect at this point. That's what we expect of these games, and especially a hero style game. That's just how we do it. But again, it's the core design of the game. I think a problem with it also is probably a bit of, they have multiple game types. So there's capturing the nodes, delivering the bomb or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Time to shoot. Do you think that with Overwatch 2, because that was something that was teased or they officially announced it. I
forgot about that.
Will they bring that back to kind of balance it, or will they, pull that back, the initial need to have all these characters, or will they just keep going in that same vein?
Isn't Overwatch 2 just Overwatch 1 with a storyline?
It's possible. But I think they're calling Overwatch 2 though. But there was that Blizzard thing. I imagine, are they going to use that as a jumping off point to say, hey, we're going to like bring this back to a core amount of players so we can balance it and then start incrementally, adding people. I don't know. It seems like they're in a tough spot because they have they have all these characters. Like, we don't know how to balance it. We're just not going to do it, I guess.
Right.
For these competitive situations.
You can just deal with it. It's.
Do you know how these competitive communities feel? Like you mentioned, they're angry, or they're just kind of dealing with it.
So far, it seems like people are pissed. Now, it'd be super neat if they did this from the very beginning. And that were the expectation with this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a different game every single week you play. And so that's why, to a certain degree, I kind of like the idea. The cast is now big enough.
Could they have 2 different, competitions where they have a battle royale version of that where everyone's, no holds barred, every player can be chosen like it usually is. Right. And they have the more traditional, or at least this newer version where it's like curated players.
It's just that would be a lot of more money and production And I don't know.
Maybe they have more time to fill now with being on YouTube. It's like they have to provide more content to like have 2 different shows. And
yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So I don't like it. Again, maybe if it were a core part of the gameplay from the beginning, that would have worked. But as of now, this just feels like we don't know how to fix our game.
It got too big.
Let's just slap some peanut butter on it and hope people eat that shit up.
It's like I don't know why I think of this, but in the Matrix, like eventually it just gets too convoluted and they reset it.
Right.
So it's like they're just gonna, try and reset this. It's too big for itself.
Right.
But I've never been super big into Overwatch, but I like what's the idea. There's just so much going on. Right. I feel like I'm instantly 80 years old and I just get angry and frustrated and confused, so I just like back out of it. But I want to be able to understand what's going on. There's just so much.
I think it would be nice that a thing too is with like League of Legends, even though their characters are definitely more in meta than others, there tends to be a bit more variety, but there's also like close to 200 characters, I think, at this point. So you're going to be able to pull out that random pick from somewhere, and this kind of comes from fighting games almost. There's this term called a low-tier god, where you whip out a character who's considered low-tier, but if you don't know how to fight them...
Oh, I see.
You're a little bit in hot water.
And can that exist when there's so many players that you just didn't train for that, fighting that other opponent that isn't...
Yeah, that's how you get your low-tier gods.
Gotcha.
So, it's that person that, you should be able to objectively destroy them every time, but if they know a little bit of tech that you don't know, they're taking an approach you can't quite take... but again, also these MOBAs have items. They have snowballing. This doesn't have that, so it's a very different game. You know
what about the comparison with Smash Bros? Because there is many characters there, and there's at least 4 or 5 people playing at once. That's how I'm familiar with Smash. But so how do they do a better job? You think of balancing that, or they also have their issues with these sneaky characters?
I mean, typically when you see Smash played in competitive, it is 1-on-1.
Oh,
so it's unfortunately not comparable. Now the newest Smash. And I just watched a tournament the other day. Like, it's still got some of the best variety. Like, now you're watching top 10. You could have a top 10 of 10 different characters. And that's phenomenal. Smash has never been that good at making everyone as balanced as they are. And it's great. And you'll get, like, fucking watching Game & Watch destroying people. And it's so funny to watch, too. So it's in a great place right now. But, again, I'm not seeing it much in the way of doubles. For Smash, which I would love for it to get a double scene going. So that's just, it's different because it's not team-based.
I see.
So
gotcha.
It's definitely not balanced to be team-based either. I'm sure once you go into doubles, that's where you're going to get the comps. So
Gotcha. Oh, man.
That's the other thing that MOBAs have that Overwatch doesn't have. Is on Overwatch, one team can have a fair and the other team can have a fair. In League of Legends or other MOBAs like Dota, only one specific character per team.
Okay.
So maybe Overwatch is finally big enough to do that. That being said, in MOBAs, you're stuck with that character the whole time. In Overwatch, typically you're going to be bouncing around depending on what your objective is.
Oh, interesting.
So
as soon as you die, you're switching out to a different character. Right.
So, again, fundamental flaw with the design. I think it was a great design at launch, but now that they're flooding it with characters, they've been flooding it with characters, it's really ran into an issue.
Also, they're not short on cash. Like, they can improve the team or like add on to the team and like, let's fix this. It's not as easy.
But it's hard. It's a design thing. This is like a thing you have to figure out, and that's so much to figure out, and people will always find a way to exploit it. So it's tough, and they've just given up, it seems.
Gotcha. That's what I do when I face adversity, so I feel for them.
But it is nice that you'll see more variety, but
Gotcha. Now, what do you make about this? This is our next story here. Platinum Games explains updates for the Wonderful 101 for Switch, PC, and PS4. So they recently launched this Kickstarter, and it's going fucking bananas, and they're way over what they initially were trying to get. So the actual article here is from IGN. So this is Daniel Robson and Esra Krab. Platinum Games, as we mentioned, explains updates for the Wonderful 101. To mark the launch of their Kickstarter campaign, Atsushi Inaba and Hideki Kamiya at Platinum Games have told IGN Japan what to expect from their remaster of the Wonderful 101 and why they chose to take the crowdfunding route. Did you play, jumping out of the article, did you play any Wonderful 101? Are you super familiar with it?
I hear it's really fun. The major complaint I've heard about it, and I take this as a major complaint, is the game doesn't really start until New Game Plus.
Oh,
which I think is disgusting design.
Yeah.
But apparently it's quite fun in New Game Plus.
the little I know about this game, I know it was locked on Wii U. That was some
Yeah.
of the issues, and that's why we're finally getting this. And there's a demand for it apparently because that Kickstarter is blowing up.
Yeah.
What's interesting too, the folds of the story is that this is a Nintendo-owned IP, and they publish the game, but they're allowing Platinum to do this Kickstarter and release it on these other platforms.
Nintendo actually owns the IP?
Apparently. Now they still own, because they also own a Bayonetta, the IP, and the Platinum develops that too.
What? That doesn't make sense. They publish Bayonetta to other platforms first.
It wasn't on PlayStation, right? And eventually now it's like locked down on Nintendo. Is that just Bayonetta though, right?
I don't think so.
I know the deal with Wonderful 101 is that it's Nintendo's allowing it to be developed on other platforms or like released on other platforms. I don't think that's the same for the other properties, say like Bayonetta, because that's like their moneymaker. That's a big deal. But to go back to the article, Kamiya told IGN Japan that the dual screen gameplay of the Wii U version will be rearranged for a single screen on Switch and other platforms, different than the single screen mode that existed in the Wii U versions, and that the user interface will be redesigned for modern systems. So to kind of scroll through here, Platinum Games Chief Creative Officer Inaba added, "We started working on the game before the Wii U platform existed, and so the core mechanics of the game predate the technology of the Wii U. So removing touch input will not heavily affect the remastered versions." So while the game will be optimized for modern game systems, the content of the main game itself will be unchanged for the remastered edition, with no new content being planned by Platinum Games for the story mode. Instead, new content will take the shape of as yet undecided extra modes if the Kickstarter campaign reaches the relevant stretch goals are met.
That's cool.
So I think
what if we get a cool multiplayer? Now, I've never played this game, so I don't know if that would work, but I think that
would be bounced just like the Overwatch situation going on. I'm going to jump over to their Kickstarter right now and refresh here and see what they're doing, because they initially wanted $50,000, and it's just broken past that completely. So they're at $855,000 as far as like this is 6 hours ago that they and climbing. And they still have a month to go. Yeah, so there's a huge demand for it. Now, why doesn't you think Nintendo would just get this port done or this remaster done on their own?
I think the original didn't make that much money.
Gotcha.
So that's why I think a Kickstarter even though Platinum is a phenomenal studio that has the money to just make this on their own, there's so much risk. So this is their way of saying, look, this is risky. People have been asking for this, but it's risky. So you guys got to kind of meet us halfway, cough up a little bit first. So I might actually contribute to the Kickstarter. Like, this is cool. I have plenty of time to do it.
But this kind of thing, this kind of deal with Nintendo only works when it's a property that they don't mind going to other platforms. As long as you pay the bill, then you can release it somewhere else. But it wouldn't be like other things that they own. They wouldn't want this kind of thing happening or allow another dev to just run a Kickstarter to put it on PS4 or something. Is what I imagine. But no, it's pretty nuts, and there's a huge demand for this. So I just didn't realize. I kind of underestimated it.
Yeah.
But and you can check out the full article on IGN over there. Daniel Robson and Ezra Krab, give them a click. So I'm going back to our little main thing here, Gavin. I know you're a huge Apex Legends fan, so I want to get your take on this.
Can't not get enough of it.
So if you remember last week, they were teasing this MMA character. There was this Thick Boy. The new Thick Boy for sure. The new legend. Is that what they call their particular characters or fighter? I want to say they call them legends. Anyways, he's kind of promoted as a new guy. And it seems like he was killed, and now there's the story trailer that goes along with it. Yeah. So it seems I like the way they're changing the model of how they release these characters and what to expect. Like Fortnite really is doing a good job of that. Just to compare these battle royale games, the way they unplugged everything. I like that Apex is trying to do something different, trying to put it on its head. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Gotcha.
So it looks.
I'm gonna play the little stuff in the background here, but
there we go. It certainly looks.
Oh, so this is the gameplay. I watched the cinematic one where they showed this robot, enacting revenge or something.
Right. Yeah, he kills them during an interview. So this is actually the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of. Ooh, this map looks cool.
Is this a edited version of the map or an updated map?
I think this is the. I could be wrong, but I think that's the. That was interesting. The way it flipped. It almost looks like it flipped between the past and the future, which is a thing that happens in one of the coolest missions in
the last game that Titanfall.
Yeah. There's a train on there. It looks neat. Man, I'd love to play some more of this game if there weren't so many hackers.
They need to take that Temtem route and start banning people.
Well, they banned like 1 million people, but it doesn't. If the game's free to play, they just come back.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to
see with this character. There's a heavy emphasis on a lot of melee stuff in that trailer, but I don't know if that also transcends in how the character plays. But he was just like fucking dudes up just by like with combat.
Well, and I don't know how that's different than because you can do finisher moves. And that I think that's what we saw was a finisher move.
Okay.
So is this the character? They can. I don't. Okay, so what do? You create a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you go dark and scary, and you can.
Oh, you had like ghosts or like
huck a grenade.
Interesting.
What does it do? Why
there
are
you go. There's
standing
like the finishing
in the grenade? Yeah, that's a finisher.
Nice.
So if they're downed,
that's pretty dope.
And I don't think there's an. If I remember correctly, there's no advantage to doing a finisher. You just feel cool, or maybe you get some more points for doing it. But you're super vulnerable when you do it. Yeah, I think that's the new bolt action.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this map looks gorgeous.
Do you think this is enough to bring you back in?
No.
It's
not why I left.
Did you just get your fill?
I didn't leave the game because the game was bad.
No, you were playing
on
on PC,
because
right?
I was tired of cheaters. Yeah.
Do you think there's any difference in the cheater pool with PC and console?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. But you prefer to still to play on PC?
Right. Gotcha. I mean, I don't have a console that can run it.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, also, PC's where my buddies were. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Some of our friends were playing it. I played with them.
Yeah.
They're the same people that I used to play. What's it called? Battlegrounds with. Like there was no. Yeah. So.
Gotcha. Well,
it's interesting.
New season will begin February 4th, which is tomorrow. So
there we go.
Let's see how that goes.
Hope that game kind of bounce back a little bit.
I think so. I think doing stuff like this, changing the way they expect a new player, a new update to the map. I like that idea. That's how it's going to keep it fresh when you're competing against Fortnite, or just I guess on that level of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Gavin, I have a video I wanted you to check out. This is just something fun. It's
I heard
from
about
Kotaku.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So hiking gets even harder in Death Stranding when the controller is a treadmill. This is from Ethan Gatch of Kotaku. So I'm going to flip over to the actual
look at this
article
fucking
here.
face.
Yeah, and so
oh my god,
there's a lot of like when he finally triumphs and like gets it to work. There's just that fucking glee on his face, which is awesome.
I'm nervous about the straps on his back. Is that to simulate how heavy this stuff is?
I think so. Let's skip through a little bit of the
god, that's
video
danger
here.
sauce right there.
So I want to give for sure credit to so Alan Pan is the guy on YouTube making this this mod here. So let's see.
I did. Playing on a projector? It's a dope dress in the corner.
Oh. Nice. I don't want to just rip his video, so I'm going to kind of skip through it. So make sure you give him a click. But it looks like he's giving this, so it's like a 15-minute long video of him developing the actual tech and troubleshooting. This is awesome. He needs to hook up with that one. There's that other dude on YouTube who'll like take apart controllers.
Rudism, I believe.
The lightsaber one, right? We saw.
This is way more complicated than anything Rudism's ever done, though. Like Rudism, I think works on a pretty simple setup of just touching a bit of foil, or you have a gyroscope. This dude engineered the fuck out of this.
Does he have his buddies trying it too? It's awesome. Oh God. And I like that they wear in the back. Like I don't think they have to wear a backpack, but
I mean I'm sure it helped to strap something. I really hope. I'm sure it'd be a massive pain in the butt, and he'd have to be working on the whole time. But I really hope he brings this to events.
That'd be awesome.
Right. This is just
show
perfect
this off?
for that. Yeah. They only treadmills are a pain in the ass to transport though, so that's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
So go and give him a click. This is the Alan Pan over on YouTube making that happen. But yeah, it looks really fucking cool.
Face, he's so happy.
Yeah. I imagine so much work to get to that point.
Right.
That's awesome.
Oh, I like the video editing too. That was good.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's another little video I want to show you, Gavin. This is The Last of Us recreated as a PlayStation 1 game.
Oh, God.
Right. So this is over on Polygon.
So the fog is right in your face.
Yeah. You can see one clicker at a time. Chris Planti over at Polygon has this article here. So The Last of Us recreated as a PlayStation 1 game. The Last of Us will be available remastered on the PS4 by the end of the month. Its graphics retouched to take advantage of the more powerful hardware. Now the experience of firing a shotgun into an infected human skull from point-blank range will look even more realistic. Some will feast upon every gory giblet. That's a good little intro. So we're seeing footage of this PlayStation 1 version of our demake of it. Looks pretty awesome. I was hoping to get a video here of the actual footage. So this is user planeR_ created the first two images, while Cal Fedora created the bottom one.
Oh, so there's no video.
I guess just a concept. Yeah.
I mean, I do at least appreciate like that looks doable.
Yeah, seems like it, right?
Yeah. I don't know are they using fake pre-rendered backgrounds for this? Can you scroll down?
Good question.
So that like this bit right there where his back's against the wall, that to me doesn't look like a pre-rendered background. Can you scroll down to the next one? That one does though. I don't know.
Interesting.
I wish there were more images.
Yeah, that's all I got there. But I guess keep following that planeR_. Well, and it's posted on NeoGAF, apparently, the actual images. But yeah.
Gotcha.
That was a video. It is not, Gavin.
Yeah, video.
I failed you.
I was hoping.
So, what about Cyberknights here? We have
yes.
some updates on our buddies over at Tracy Games.
Oh, and they crossed it.
Nice. Yep, we're watching this real time. So this is the new game Cyberknights they're working on, a Cyberpunk RPG. Awesome. They launched Kickstarter today. $50,000 goal. They already are past that at $52,000.
I think that jumped up $6,000 from when we started this podcast. That's
I didn't want to say anything. I secretly, made a transaction. I don't want to boast about it, but yeah, no, it's pretty nuts. The game looks really cool. I like this. We talked about when we interviewed them a couple months ago. They talked about this is their first time doing this like heavy 3D focus on the game.
Yeah.
And so with the art, with the environment, and so and I kind of am drawn more towards this 3D style, and so this one really comes out to me, and I feel like they're gonna get a lot more people on board too.
It looks incredible, even as like very early on as this is, and really once you watch the actual Kickstarter for it, which I know I kind of watched through it while you're in the bathroom. Some of the stuff I mentioned to you a little bit. But before you go into a mission, you can sort of do research and do stuff that will affect whether you have a guy on the inside or you can pay for extra stuff. Like there are neat ways you can affect your mission, which I've always wanted. You can customize out your guns. You can trick out a bunch of stuff. Like this is a tactics game that people are definitely thirsty for, and it looks fucking great.
Yeah,
really man, just throwing more money at this is going to do absolute wonders.
Even better.
Oof.
You know what? There's a couple of tiers. There's one where I want to say it's like $1,000 where you can get a character created as yourself, like in the game.
Nice.
And that would be awesome to do. Okay, so we're watching the cinematic, the Kickstarter trailer here. So it's actually called Cyberknights Flashpoint is the full game.
Right.
You get to see these buff Corey and Andrew Trace brothers here. Do they lift each other up? Is that how they train? They just like bench press the other?
I think so. These guys are just fit as hell.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, the concept art looks great. The actual in-game 3D, like they've got some really neat.
I like the style too. Like it definitely stands up on its own. Like it's not pulling from anything else. Like I like that. Not cell shaded, but that kind of style they're going with.
Stylized, yeah.
Stylized.
It's got a nice little. I don't know what you'd. The shitty. Unfortunately, the closest comparison I could really have is Fortnite, but I feel like
more
that's not fair because you're going
time.
for a different audience.
Yeah, I get more Dishonored vibes. I guess not more, but also
Dishonored's fair. Yeah, I mean it's that stylized notion. This is gonna run on everyone's PC.
See, with that style too, they're forward like where this can look good for a while, like for years, like that. Wind Waker kind of idea where if you go this route, it just lasts longer visually.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks neat. I want to play it. Something I think they also mentioned is like those cosmetics actually will affect gameplay. So like the mask and stuff. I think it was like a mask of invisibility and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so ambitious.
I wonder, for me being such an idiot, I tend to jump into these games like just full force, and I wonder if there's this ability to play more of an action-y kind of style. That's more my style, but I'm still willing to, like, pay attention to what they're telling me and play it the proper way. But
right.
I mean,
it is an RTS. Like, you're not going in this to play politics. You're going this to whoop some ass.
Right, gotcha.
So when it looks like if you upgrade your character properly, you can go in there and whoop that ass. So
I can't wait to Cybernap to whoop that ass. I wonder if they thought about that name as a title.
I think that was probably phase 1, but they're like, all right. And then they mentioned, this is something also they mentioned a little bit. It sounds like people that have previous games are going to get some bonuses currently for backing this. If I understood that correctly, which is just super cool.
You know what they mentioned in their tiers too, that for at a certain level you can participate in these like one-on-one sessions or group sessions where you can affect the way they decide on different like storylines or like just different like missions, different modes. Like you can actually work with them and kind of develop it a little bit, which is, I mean, they're masters at like talking to the community and working with them.
Yes,
and that's just an example of that. Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, good luck to them. They already smashed that goal, so that's pretty cool to see that.
That's awesome. That's gonna. Oof.
But when they talked to us, they were big proponents of build that community so that they're there for you day one when you do something. It's already 53 grand.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, is this a real
thing? It's
thing?
just climbing. Well, and that's the thing we learned. It's like, that's why you set your initial goal low, because once you hit it, then it just balloons from there. But you got to hit it first.
Yeah, and you got to figure out what that low that you'd be willing to accept point is too.
Right.
And
yeah. It's that's so neat.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes with that Kickstarter. It's pretty dope. Gavin, this is something that's very excited for me. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, or I'm back on the train now with like Resident Evil 7 and the Resident Evil 2 remake. And there was these big rumors, and big enough where IGN's talking about them. It's Resident Evil 8 leaks or possible rumors. There's a lot to break down here, but one of the big ones is they're returning back to that first person perspective, which I think is good too. Now that they have the option, if this is legit, to go back and forth between their first-person modes within the newer Resident Evils and also those classic remakes. They're going to go back to that third-person view, assuming they're going to follow that model.
Right. I think they will. I mean, people really liked Resident Evil 7.
I did. I really liked it. I didn't expect to like it, and I was actually surprised on how it was a mixture of, it was scary, but I could handle the scariness. It was fun. I wanted to keep playing it. I couldn't fathom the idea of playing in VR, but that was
I hear it is fuck off terrifying in VR.
Well, I was talking to Callum. He had played it on his PSVR, and it was like it was insane. It was intense. There's moments where the characters just like jump in front of you, and that's part of the jump scare, and it's just
I can't imagine the scene with like the guy in the car like wheeling around in the garage.
Oh, right.
While you're there, like.
There's a chainsaw scene too. There's a chainsaw battle. Yeah,
there's a chainsaw battle.
Yeah. I think you have a chainsaw. You're fighting against the other guy, the crazy guy who has a chainsaw. I forget.
Dude.
But it gets pretty nuts. So the actual rumors here from Matt Kim over at IGN, Resident Evil 8 will also be first person. Capcom is currently working on a remake of Resident Evil 3, but there haven't been any details about the next mainline Resident Evil game following 2017's Resident Evil 7, until now at least, in which a new report suggests Capcom will return to the first-person format for the next horror entry. According to the YouTube channel Residents of Evil, Resident Evil 8 will follow in Resident Evil 7's footsteps and keep the first-person perspective. Eurogamer has heard similar details from sources familiar with Capcom. Resident Evil 7's first-person perspective was a novel approach to the series that has mostly stayed in third person. It has mostly worked, giving Resident Evil a fresh take after years of what fans would consider missteps. So to jump out of the article, I know there's comments on some of the enemies, and this might not be in this actual breakdown, but in that initial leak, apparently the rumors are with Resident Evil 8 that there's it's kind of a Europe atmosphere or like a environment. There's castles, there's snowy, almost like callbacks to Resident Evil 4, but there's also this werewolf like not demon, but a werewolf like person you'll be fighting. That's the like shift kind of changing thing. There's like a nemesis sort of antagonist that will chase you but dissipate, and you have to deal with that happening. But it seems, I guess those those goopy, not zombies, but that one goopy stuff that follows you in 7.
The goopy goose?
The goopy goose. They're returning. They're not returning. It's like back to zombies apparently.
Oh.
So yeah, this is with a grain of salt, but really anything they reveal, it's like I just want to see this. I'm super hungry for this game.
Yeah, I mean, as far as leaks go, though, that's pretty damn tame.
Yeah, it's kind of stuff to be expected, I guess. But yeah.
They're like, oh, it's first person.
Cool.
Sweet.
Show us when it's ready.
I'm not happy or upset.
I have no emotion whatsoever.
Right. I mean, I think it's cool. I think the visual fidelity of Resident Evil 7 was bonkers, and the fact that they did that in first person was even more impressive. So
right. I think you can achieve that more with my limited understanding of that whole thing. But like you can shrink down the environment so you can process that, and like as you're moving through Resident Evil 7, it's in closed doors, or they slow you down, so you're not just able to you're not Spider-Man swinging through in that high fidelity. Like they can kind of control you a bit more, but it also makes sense for the story. With
Maybe you're not. Going. I was with my goopy goo.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing outside of the game, Gavin, but
website.
Awesome, Gavin. That's all that's all the articles I have for you, Gavin. Stuff happened.
Stuff happened.
That
was an exciting week.
Yeah.
I'm excited for. It's good stuff.
Any games?
We didn't talk about Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So they released final character, Byleth, who, to people that were sick of there being too many sword characters and Fire Emblem characters, we continue to be unhappy. Now, she's not necessarily a sword character. Her weapons are kind of weird, but it's also not necessarily something that's been done that hasn't been done before. A little bit with Simon Belmont. Her gameplay looks. I think the thing that surprised me. So she came out like same day she was announced, and I was watching the streamer while I was working out. So I just put him on. His name is Nero, I think.
Okay.
And so I'm watching him play, and I was watching, this footage for a solid hour and a half. Didn't realize it was a new fucking character. Had no idea.
I mean, that's not the greatest thing in the world then with
no.
when you're revealing a new character like this.
I think and I think there's a male and female version, I believe, which they do a lot with these Fire Emblem characters. And God, that's a lot of fucking work. But yeah, so... the sword is kind of neato because it can like kind of turn into a whip, which is neat. Or maybe it is a whip. I don't know. I wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at.
A lightsaber, it looks like.
But you could whip yourself back onto the stage, which not a lot of characters have.
Okay.
So it was cool to see that. Kind of just has every weapon under the sun. It has a bow. I think has an axe. Just has all these different weapons.
Yeah.
So it was definitely neat. But. Yeah, I don't know if you don't care for more. Yeah.
Well, I'm not super familiar with that character, but it seems like online people were a bit upset or just bummed out. I don't know what they were expecting, some kind of crazy reveal. But every time they announce a new fighter, there's always like crazy hype for some kind of out of left field character. But we end up getting this kind of stuff, which is.
Right. So it was kind of also the amount of sword characters in that trailer alone. They're like, this is a new sword character. He can keep up with the rest. Like, fuck off. So tired of your dumb sword characters. But that's a strategy. It's still neat to see. I'm sure it'll be another high tier character. Again, with this game, like balance is crazy good. We're seeing all the characters.
That's how they avoid unbalance with all these characters. Is a lot of them are not clones, but like just different takes on the same character because they already can balance that type of character. That's how they avoid that, but still add something new.
Yes and no. They do that in certain cases for sure. But like some of these characters are so bonkers. Like Joker when he came out, and he's still not necessarily balanced, but Joker's still bonkers. The way they took old characters and made them newly bonkers. Everyone's bonkers, and it's I don't know. It's So yes and no to that statement.
I see.
Yeah, see, there's Simon. She reminds me a lot of Simon.
Okay, Castlevania.
Yeah, So, and I think he's a great character. He's fun to watch if you can. You don't see him as much in pro play anymore, but God, he was fun because he'd get you off the map and there was no safe way back. You'd just be taking damage because he'd be throwing fucking holy water and axes up in the air like you couldn't. Gotcha. So yeah, it was neat to see. But yeah, and then they announced as well season 2 Fighters Pass. It's kind of crazy with this game because like, what do you do if there's to be ever another Smash Brothers? How?
Yeah, good luck.
Right.
They're gonna have the whole Pokemon situation where it's like we can only bring half of the players or half of the characters. And
yeah, I think if you're ever to make a new Smash Brothers, A, call it Smash Bros 2 because that would blow everyone's brain. And then B, you have to make fundamental, huge sweeping changes and reduce the roster.
Yeah.
So, but it's really neat seeing this become a living game. I love watching it. It's super fun to watch.
Do you end up buying the passes for the different characters? Or?
I did. It wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for the whole season or
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
So I think it was whole season, and I almost accidentally bought Piranha Plant on top of it.
Oh, but that's a free one, right?
Yeah. It came
run?
with the season pass, or if you bought the season pass before a certain date, you got Piranha Plant. But a lot of people, like, codes came out hella late for Piranha Plant.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I want to play him. So I almost bought him.
Gotcha.
But I'm glad I didn't because I don't like playing as him. People can play him. I'm really bad at him.
Yeah.
He plays so weird. It would be nice to see him be in pro play.
Is that one of those god tier characters then that's like can kind of come out of left field and you can just dominate with that character?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I think assuming he has all the essentials that you need to really, like, there are certain things you need, options you need in situations, and I don't know that he has them all. Probably not if I'm not seeing anyone. I mean, fucking Bowser showing up in top 10s, like characters that I never thought I'd see in top 10. So
nice.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know. What are we gonna do, Gavin? Well, Gavin, yeah, that's all I have for you this week.
Nice.
We'll end it there this week. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs. Occasionally, I post a meme.
Oh, nice. That's a good job there. And you can find us on Plastic Card Pod as well on Twitter. And this week we'll have our interview with Laser, the dev from Laser. Garrick. I'm blanking on his name.
But
another good point. There we go.
Laser out now on Kickstarter. Go check it out. Go support it. It's seriously an awesome game. It's really, really fun. We both played the demo for it. The demo's out on itch.io. Laser. That's Laser with no E. Very important thing to know.
Yes, and actually I put that bump in soundtrack always comes out really, really hard there. But so I actually was just playing it last night. I was capturing footage to pair with the interview. Yeah. And it's pretty fucking hard. But when you do like triumph, it feels really great. But like the big takeaway is not only visuals, but like the cloth physics, the burning, the action. It's pretty dope. But we got to talk to Garrick Campsey last week, and so that video is coming up this week.
He's tanked so many more shots than I do.
Yeah, you can become immune to things like lasers and grenades, and you have to balance that with the platforming, with the combat. But his Kickstarter's online right now, so definitely give him a click, support that game, because he's trying to get it to Switch, to Vita, to PC, to PS4, to everything.
To Vita.
Yeah, to Vita.
Man, you got a toaster. He'll have it running on that toaster. That's not an actual promise.
I don't know. Maybe if he gets enough a certain tier at the end.
I think he could. The way how optimized it is, how like he said that this thing is so small, he has 100% of the game loaded into memory. At the start, which is nuts. Mm-hmm. No idea.
I can't imagine the boss.
I do that too, but my games run shitty. So this boss battle is. He plays way more loosey-goosey than I do.
Point of the game, but
you didn't?
I don't know if that was in the demo or not, but I was.
It was past that part you were stuck on.
I see. Dang.
So it kind of after that part, it eases off a little bit. The bike, despite the fact that I died like 20 times on the bike part, it wasn't too hard. And then the next part was a little bit tricky. I love this fucking map screen. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really hard, but that's by design. This is designed to be a tough. Challenging game. You're gonna rage a little bit, but you're gonna have fun. So give yourself that challenge. Experience that old school level of difficulty with new school gameplay and cloth forming, and stuff.
Yeah, you didn't believe me that's the term that they're coining.
I don't know that it wasn't necessarily that I didn't.
Or you hadn't heard it for the first time.
Yeah, I just hadn't heard it.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of Celeste, and I get similar vibes with like the level of difficulty, the platforming, and that's something that brings me to that too, because I do like that. It's brutally hard, but you get to reset fast and start to learn like from your mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, you start to get really good at those levels by the time you beat it, and then on to the next brutally difficult. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. So yeah, definitely give them some love over on Kickstarter. Gavin, yeah, we'll end it there. That's it for us this week.
Sweet.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.